I'm Zita Gustin with Biz Talk with Zita. Today we'll be talking with Margit Crane, the gifted teen coach. Margit is an acclaimed expert on teens, tweens, and their parents. Many families with teens feel that their homes have turned into a battleground. Margit says it doesn't have to be that way. Join me as we talk with Margit about teens and their parents and how to restore harmony at home. So welcome, Margit. It's so great to have you here today.
Thank you, Zita. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, great. You know, I love the idea about having harmony in the home. And so let's just get right down to it and talk about our teens. Now, some people think that teens are frustrating and exasperating, and other people think teens are wonderful. And then there's a lot of parents who are dealing with that in-between place where they love their teens one moment and can't stand them the next moment. Let's talk a little bit about teens and how they can be exasperating and lovable all in the same bundle and how you find them so awesome.
The teen is obviously the grown-up version of the baby that was totally beloved. But there's also a growth spurt going on in their brain as well as in their body. And one of the key features of adolescence is that they need to be asserting their independence. It's sort of mandatory. And that can be really tricky for a parent who's used to thinking of the baby as dependent on them. So that's what a lot of times the core or the crux of what's causing the tension.
Mm-hmm. So that love-hate relationship that happens is normal and it's okay, is what you're saying.
It's absolutely normal, and there are ways that you can handle it so it doesn't become a tug of war, because the teens actually need the safety of the home at the same time that they're asserting themselves, sometimes rather aggressively.
Mm-hmm. So from our discussions, I understand that you absolutely adore teenagers.
Yes.
That you actually started your fascination with teenagers when you were 9 years old. Tell us a little bit about that and how you find teenagers to be so precious.
Okay. Yeah, I absolutely adore teens. They're my favorite group of people, actually. And my cousins were all teenagers. They were older than me when I was 9. So they kind of introduced me into the world of teens. And they fascinated me because they had a different life than I did. It's like a foreign country or something. It's a new world to enter into. They have their own clothes. They have their own language. They have their own hair. They have their own music. They have a whole culture that's completely separate from any other culture at any other age group. And I've just found it fascinating for my whole life. And I also find that teens are very truthful. They're really struggling with their own integrity, and they're very aware of when there's any hypocrisy going on. And I value that because I want to be as truthful and as in integrity as I can possibly be. So I value that they are watching me, because I know that when I'm with a teen, I am absolutely going to be at my best because I don't want to let them down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about your credentials and what actually brings you to this place that you are so gifted in helping the gifted teens.
Right. Well, I've pretty much dedicated most of my life to the world of teens and their parents. I started working with teens when I was 14, actually, teaching 12 and 13-year-olds in a bat mitzvah class, and found that I could connect with kids even my own age, and they didn't feel that that was a problem. Then I was a college teacher when I was getting my first master's degree, which is in Spanish, and I taught 18-year-olds. I also have a master's degree in education, and I have a master's degree in school counseling, sort of the professional student. And that whole time, I was also a middle school and high school teacher and counselor. So I've been working with teens and their parents for over half of my life and honing my skills the whole time, just because I really believe that my mission here is to heal families and make family life enjoyable. That's what my deepest wish is.
And so in doing that, Margit, in helping families to find that harmony at home and to find that place where they can live together joyfully, let's talk a little bit about what's the number one mistake that parents typically make in dealing with their teenagers or within the family unit.
Right. The number one mistake is that parents isolate themselves. There's a lot of shame and a lot of fear that goes with parenting. Parents are afraid of being judged. You see it on Nanny 911, where the nanny comes in and says, this is what's wrong. And that's not what I do. I look at what's right. But the thing that prevents people from getting help is that fear that they're going to be called a bad parent, because I think parents would rather talk about their sex lives than their parenting lives. And so there's a lot of fear of judgment, and coaching can take care of that.
And then let's talk about it from the kid's perspective, the teen. What is the biggest mistake that teens make in dealing with their parents?
That's a really interesting question. I think that teens don't understand that their parents are still looking at them as, if not babies, as their young children, and that it's very difficult for a parent to move from seeing them as a baby or a toddler or a young elementary school child to seeing them as someone who's going to be driving a car or dating or moving out on their own. That's horrifying to a parent. And I think if teens would give their parents a little bit of slack, a little bit of understanding, that would go a ways to create some more harmony. That's a first step for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about what can a family expect when they're working with you. You typically work in whatever way the family needs, from what I understand. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So the key thing of my philosophy is that parenting it's not a moral issue. So I don't go into good and bad. I look at it as a skill set, and it's a skill set that I would be teaching through the coaching process. So I look at the family, I give them a questionnaire initially. It's a very complete questionnaire, and I can really see what the relationships are and who's doing what and that sort of thing. And then I make recommendations about whether coaching is appropriate, and if it is, then which combination of people would benefit the most. So I want maximum results, quick results. And so I can coach the parent and the teen. I can coach just the teen, just the parent, any combination. It could be the whole family. It's whatever is going to work for the parent. For the family.
For the family, sure. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about how you coach, because a lot of people are new to the whole concept of coaching, and you coach primarily over the telephone, correct?
I can do both. I can do over the phone or in person. And so that the over the phone aspect allows me to coach anywhere in the world, which is absolutely fantastic. So so it's very structured. There's a sort of a preparation form that people fill out in the beginning that focuses what it is that they want to talk about. One of the things that's different from therapy is that therapy can sort of go off into a non-structured way, and people can go off on tangents. Coaching, my job is to bring you back. When you're off on a tangent, I want to bring you back to what you said you want to focus on. So it's very structured that way. And the conversation is all about getting you to your goal. And then we come up with an action plan at the end for you to look at the next week and how you're going to structure the next week. Then at the end of the session, there's a form that you fill out that grounds what your intentions are for the next week. And so that's why it can move really quickly, because we're not delving into any pathology or deep disorders or anything like that. We're just talking about actions. Mm-hmm. So it goes really fast with really great results.